What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to another episode of Ben Builds with Joe. This is episode number 9 for our P-40B, and today we're going to go ahead and finish off the kit, get it all wrapped up. So last time we put on the decals, and off camera I overcoated everything with a real quick shot of our future, or Pledge Revive It, however you want to refer to it as. Now it is all nicely dried and we have a very glossy surface, so I'm happy about that. We're going to focus today on weathering. We have to go ahead and fix up a couple little areas here and there. We want to try a little bit of some oil shading. I want to add one aerial line in there, do a little bit of panel work, and just see what I can do. Of course, weathering is not really one of my fortes. I'm not really sure what I want to do with this, so luckily I have references. We're going to be using our tried and true detail and scale P-40 Warhawk book. Now there's a lot of pictures in here that have full color, and we get a chance to see not only the shades and the different paints here and there, but also just how weathered some of these aircraft would be. For example, we have a little bit of, looks like oil leakage right here on the front propeller. We have everything else though pretty clean. A little bit of fading here and there, but for the most part, everything is just that olive drab and then that neutral gray underneath. So I don't really want to take it too far. I do want to go ahead and try to fade down some of the fabric covered surfaces, but otherwise everything looks pretty clean. So I don't think these would have been as heavily weathered early war as they would have been later on. Definitely not as weathered as like the AVG would have been either. So we're going to go ahead and try to keep it a little on the cleaner side. Still though, I want to go ahead and start off with some oil filters. That should be a good place to begin. Now I'm going to be using some of our just regular old oil paints. These are some cheap oil paints I picked up and I've been using them for years and years. We're going to go with some deep yellow, a little bit of that here on my palette. And I also think I want to go ahead and go with a darker yellow. So let me see. Let's go ahead and go with some yellow ochre. That's going to be a nice little addition. And then finally we'll finish off with some burnt umber. And I think that's going to be a really nice place to start. So let's go ahead and cue up time lapse. We're just going to play around with the oils and see what we can do with that. And then push forward, get it flat coated, add in some weathering. So on with the kit. Let's see what we can do. All right, everybody, so we are back after our oil filters, and I am now going to apply a little bit of powder. I'm going to be using my AIM weathering powder, the grimy black, and we're just going to start drawing a little bit here around the exhaust stacks. We're going to pull it down maybe around the guns, gun dust or something. We're going to add some staining here and there. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, we're going to keep it a little on the cleaner side. But let's go ahead and finish this off and then overcoat it with a nice Winsor Newton matte varnish. And then we'll be able to do some chipping with some colored pencils. And we'll be back for the final reveal. Let's push on. All right, everybody. So we are back with our finished 1/48 scale P-40B. And of course, right there at the 0 hour, trouble happens. Now, I actually have had to replace the front windscreen with the alternate windscreen, kind of modify it down to look a little bit more like the earlier version, just because I had some issues with glue. I don't remember using Tamiya on this particular clear part, but apparently I did because it got a little bit crazed. So that's not really going to fly. So I replaced those, and the center section, when I was unmasking, it snapped right down the middle. And I want to go ahead and pose this open, so I just glued it back together, and well, let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. Not exactly my best work ever, but I'm happy to be finished with it. And aside from the canopy issues that I created on my own, everything else was a really, really nice little kit. As you can notice, I did not add in the wing aerials. I just kept the single center aerial there on the fuselage. I just didn't really want to fool with it. The canopy, of course, the middle section has got a crack right down the center of it. And then the front windscreen is not exactly 100% correct. But other than that, I like my weathering. I like the different techniques that I've been trying to practice and trying to use. Overall, it's not a bad kit. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of a close-up for you. And like I said before, I used my references and they didn't show a lot of really heavily weathered P-40s. So I try to keep it a little bit cleaner, but I did add some pencil chipping here and there around different panels that might have had a bit more access. You know, I also added my gun dust around the front nose guns and the wing guns, and using the oil filters with the deep yellow and the yellow ochre really did help a little bit to kind of give that nice color modulation. I don't know if you can really see it there on camera, but it is there and it is subtle, and I do like to go a little bit more subtle. With a little bit of gun dust too from that aim weathering powder, we have darkened a couple sections here and there. We added some chips, and we just hopefully tried to capture a relatively clean P-40 without going too crazy, but one that's been maybe sitting on the tarmac just a little bit. Also, if you notice, I did color in these little side windows right there. Those, I guess, were not found on every single P-40. They were actually, I think, blue navigation lights, and I decided to go ahead and represent them just like that. A little bit of clear blue on that. Worked out perfectly. I've got the nav lights on the wings, the blue and the red. That worked out well. Underneath the bottom of the fuselage, added some of the grime and muck coming out of that back of that radiator. And with the aerial, I think we are pretty much complete. So I'm happy to say we are finished. My overall thoughts of the kit, like I said, it went together beautifully. I didn't really have any issues. The decals went on absolutely wonderfully. A little bit of chipping here and there and a little bit of color modulation. But overall, guys, I am happy with my results. Aside from that front canopy and that center section snapping and a little bit with some fogging that I had on my clear parts, we are done. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming along with myself and with Joe for Ben Builds with Joe season number 4. The P-40 is a great little kit by Airfix 1/48 scale. And if you've never built one, I say go out and grab one. They're decently priced. They fit together very, very well. Decals are beautiful and you can have a lot of fun with it. So until our next episode, guys, thank you so much for joining me. You know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. And we'll see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.